Well, Hillary Clinton's exorbitant Wall Street speaking fees, well, they're not exorbitant if somebody was willing to pay them, are they? That's a Wall Street axiom. It's still the subject of heated political debate during this convention and a newly released political ad from a Trump super PAC using Bernie Sanders to make their powerful point.
Secretary Clinton has given some speeches to Wall Street where she's paid over $200,000 a speech. This is what I think. If you're going to get paid $200,000 for a speech, must be a pretty damn good speech. And if it's such a good speech, you got to release the transcripts. Let everybody see it.
Well, that's a pretty good ad, don't you think? Joining us, Peter Schweizer. He's the president of the Government Accountability Institute. He's also the author of the best-selling book, Clinton Cash, The Untold Story of How and Why Foreign Governments and Businesses Helped Make Bill and Hillary Rich, and out in paperback this week. And also, I have to say, a pretty good movie producer, too. The executive producer of the terrific film, Clinton Cash. It can be seen right now for free on Breitbart.com. Peter, good to have you with us. I want to just compliment you on the production as well as your book, which we've talked about a number of times. But that's a compelling and I think, condemnation, certainly, of Hillary Clinton. What has been the reaction? How well is your movie doing? Breitbart hosting it and providing it for free viewing. How's it doing?
Well, thanks, Lou. It's great to be on with you, as always. First 48 hours, more than 500,000 people have watched the video. That assumes just one person per screen. We know there have been watch parties, so the number of people seeing it even more. It's actually been pirated and put on a number of other websites, which we're fine with. We want as big an audience as possible. We have Bernie Sanders websites where some of the watch counts are now close to 500,000. And I think that's what's so interesting about this film and about Clinton Cash. It's not really a left-right thing. We're really talking about issues that are of interest to, conservatives and independents, but also progressive voters that support Bernie Sanders. Big financial firms, things like the environment, human rights, human trafficking in Africa, that sort of thing.
Right. I want to turn to something because I have never seen mainstream media pick up what to me is on its face such a ludicrous charge as the fact that, as the suggestion that Vladimir Putin somehow was involved in the leak of all of the information that WikiLeaks released, some 20,000 emails. And then I thought about your book, your documentary, talking about Uranium One, in which Hillary Clinton ostensibly signed off estimates range from 20 to 30% of U.S. uranium supplies through Uranium One, and a $145 million donation to the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, that's right, Lou. Look, who knows what the Russian government is up to at any given moment. What we do know is when it comes to the Clintons, they have long, strong financial ties relating to Russia. Bill Clinton gave a $500,000 speech in Moscow right before this uranium transfer was approved. That was for a company called Renaissance in Russia, which is well known at the senior level to be populated by Russian intelligence officials with close ties to the Kremlin. There's this uranium deal you talked about. We've got other research that's going to be coming out in a few days involving money transfers related to the Russian reset. So the notion that the Clintons have no connections to the Russians and no flow of Russian money is ludicrous. It's long, it's substantial, and it involves some very critical national security issues, including, as you mentioned, American uranium.
Well, let me ask you to compare what's going on here. I saw people pick up with no evidence whatsoever this story in the mainstream media, liberal media, if you will, and they ran with it in an instant. And the FBI director announced they're going to investigate almost the same day, the day after that all of this was breaking. And so far, not a peep from those same news outlets on Uranium One and that story about those contributions to the Clinton Foundation. What do you make of that?
No, you're right, Lou. I mean, look, I think that, hacking is an issue and a problem, and these DNC emails have reaped an enormous wealth of information on the DNC, but there was a hacking took place, and I get that that needs to be investigated. But the bottom line is we know for a fact that the Clintons got $145 million from 8 shareholders in a small Canadian company as Hillary Clinton's State Department approved the transfer of uranium. We know that, and the mainstream media is not interested in that story.
Well, maybe all of that's going to change over the course of this campaign. We'll see. Peter Schweizer, thanks for being with us. We're going